Hello and welcome. I am Mundane Failure, and this is Jund. Let's play. This is not the typical Jund list, I'll tell you that much. So normally in Historic, we see Jund Food or Jund Cat Oven, and this is not those. This is more of a fair Jund / Jund control list. So we're going to go over the deck tech real quick, and then we'll jump into some games. This deck list was found, it was played in the Hooglandia Open that happened this Sunday, and it was featured on screen. That's where I found it, and I just thought it was a really sweet list, so that's why we're playing it today. So we'll start with the 1-drops. We got 4 copies of Abundant Harvest. This card obviously very good at helping you smooth out your draws in the early game, and in the late game it can get you a non-land card, so very nice card there. Excuse me. 6 copies of Inquisition and Thoughtseize, 3-3 split. Obviously we want to be able to deal with some of those combo decks, some of those control decks, and just pick apart their hand, so plenty of hand disruption here. And then 2 Bloodchief's Thirst, just good all-around removal for a cheap amount of mana. 3 Valki, God of Lies, and I think that for the most part you really are going to hardcast a Tibalt here. Obviously there will be some times where we play it on 2 and take out, Skyclave Apparition out of the opponent's hand, but I think we really want to be casting this as Tibalt. 2 Scoozes to be able to take care of the graveyard. 3 Chevill, Bane of Monsters, and this card is going to be pretty instrumental. Go ahead and put a bounty counter on a creature, and then we get to kill that creature and draw a card and gain 3 life, which we're going to want to do. We got a pretty painful mana base. So 2 Klothys, obviously just very powerful rule card, good at picking apart the graveyard, gaining you some life, or ramping you if that's what you need. Kolaghan's Command, new card brought by the Historic Anthology 5, and very versatile, very, very versatile. So you can return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, you can make the opponent discard a card, you can destroy an artifact, or you can shock something. So pick 2 of those modes and do what you need to do. Destroy, a Witch's Oven, make the opponent discard a card. So very, very versatile. 4 copies of Bonecrusher Giant. If you're playing red, you're playing Bonecrusher. It's just the best red card in Magic Arena right now, so that's why we're playing that. 3 Chandra, Torch of Defiance, just a powerful 4-drop Planeswalker. 2 Binding the Old Gods, and 2 Elder Gargaroths in the main deck. Sideboard, playing 3 copies of Flunk, just extra removal. 2 more copies of Scavenging Ooze, in order to continue to pick apart the graveyard. 2 Cindervines, deal with, again, more artifacts and enchantments, and also to just give you that little bit of extra edge against the control decks. 1 Maelstrom Pulse, just very good non-conditional removal. 2 copies of Go Blank, want to get rid of the graveyard. This card's really good at it. Gonti, Lord of Luxury. I'm surprised this card's not in the mid deck, honestly. It's just super powerful. The 3rd Gargaroth, we really want this against rogues. And then 2 Angraith, the Flame Chained card that hasn't really seen a ton of play, but for 5 mana you get to steal a creature until end of turn, untap it, against haste, and then sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step if its mana value 3 or less. So just a powerful way to close out a game. Play that on 5, take their biggest creature, and bash them in the face. So that's the list. We're going to jump into some games here and see how they go. And this is a keep for me. We get to turn 1 Abundant Harvest, look for another non-land. Actually, we get to turn 1 Inquisition, which is even a little bit better, I think. Memory Lapse, Brainstorm. So we're going to take Brainstorm. We don't want to give them the opportunity to reshape their hand. And the opponent, if they want to, get to Memory Lapse this. They might do it just because it's a good tempo play. Yeah, and that's fine. We'll play a tapped Overgrown Tomb, send it back to the opponent. Perhaps that was wrong. We should have played the Stomping Ground. Because if we want the Blooming Marsh to enter the battlefield untapped, that's what we'll have to do. But we will Abundant Harvest, looking for a non-land here. We find another Abundant Harvest. I'm going to go ahead and play out the Stomping Ground tapped, rather. And a second Chandra, so I'm not too upset about that. The plan is going to be to cast Kolaghan's Command on the opponent's end step, after they resolve a Kahira. I suppose it's possible they put Kahira back here, but I don't think that's what the opponent ought to do. Narset resolves. The opponent gets a Teferi, so we're going to go for the Kolaghan's Command here. We're going to shock the Narset so they don't get another activation out of it. I was hoping to draw out a counterspell there. I'm sure the Thoughtseize will. And it does. The opponent's in a pretty powerful position here, with a Narset and a Teferi on the battlefield. It's going to be difficult for us to overcome this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to attack this Narset. We do get to draw a card. The opponent has a Brainstorm to hide their most powerful spells. Helix. Well, we'll take a Helix. And next turn we'd like to resolve a Gargaroth. That'd be pretty good for us. Unless we draw a red source. I think Narset might be better. The opponent has so much card advantage here. I don't know how we're going to beat them. They're bound to have interactive spells. Oh, that's red mana. We're going to go for the Chandra. The opponent knows about it. We've got 2. So if she gets countered, we can always try again next turn. If we draw a land, we can attempt to Chandra and Elder Gargaroth on the same turn. That might not be enough to stop the Teferi. The opponent discards 2 lands there. They discard a Wrath and a land. So that's not land, which is what we were hoping for. We'll stomp Teferi. And hopefully they don't draw Narset. Narset plus memory would be pretty bad for us. We're going to go ahead and uptick the draw a card option here. Land. So we will go for Gargaroth. Hopefully he resolves. He does. If the opponent has another commit, it'll draw that out. They could have double Lightning Helix, but it's not pretty likely considering we already dealt with 2 of them. More than likely, we're just going to see a Teferi Tuck. A 6/6 Shark. And a Tuck. So that deals with Chandra. I don't know how we get out of this position. It feels pretty insurmountable at the moment. Well, that's not the worst. Another Teferi and a Wrath. We'll take the extra Teferi. But we are dead in 2 turns. If the opponent decides to go for face. I think they're going to continue to attack down the Chandra, so Chandra gaining us some life. That'll do it. That's not a powerful enough draw for us. So against control, we want the Cindervines. I don't mind Maelstrom Pulse. Elder Gargaroth is good if he sticks around. Gonti's good because they have very powerful cards. Not in love with Chevill. They don't have a ton of permanents for us to kill most of the time. Bloodchief's Thirst. Actually, that hits Planeswalkers, yes. Yeah. Not in love with the Scavenging Ooze. Maybe we only want the 2 Gargaroths. And we will, of course, play first. I mean, this is fine. It's not great. And again, we grab Abundant Harvest with our Abundant Harvest. Klothys is a good draw, especially since I'm anticipating the first one getting countered. Well, with the opponent tapped out here, we're just going to go for the Klothys. And with that resolved, we should be in pretty good shape, I would think. Let's go for an Inquisition. Wow. The opponent has card advantage. I think we take the Narset. The opponent goes for their Expressive Iteration. I wouldn't be surprised to see them shock this in. And we'll go for a Thoughtseize. They can hide whatever they like here. Rest in peace. We're not super worried. Well, it shuts down our Klothys, so... We would have liked to have drawn a black source. We know they have a Dovin's Veto available to them. So we'll drive this Binding the Old God straight into that Dovin's Veto. Memory lapse. With that, I think we're in pretty bad shape. I don't know why Teferi's not tucking here. Yeah. Last turn already, huh? Alright, and there's the Dovin's Veto. So we're happy to see that. Two Shark. Good thing about Klothys, not a Planeswalker, even though very powerful. And we finally see the tuck. Opponent's getting concerned about their life total. There's a Stomp. I think we're just going to go for a Klothys here. Brainstorm. Just how many cards in hand the opponent has. This is very concerning for me. Gideon of the Trials. Ooh, good for you. We still get to gain 2 life. Get around Klothys there. Gonti plays around Dovin's Veto. Well, we'll take a Teferi of our own. Sure, we're gonna walk it right into a memory lapse. So we're in pretty bad shape here. We can Fairy plus Stomp Kahira. We can Chandra plus Valki and Stomp. Dovin's Veto. Notably, if it weren't for this Gideon, opponent would be basically dead. Let's go for Tibble. I'm sure it's going to get countered. And then we will scoop. Yeah, that'll do it for us. I don't think there's any way we're digging ourselves out of that hole. Alright, here we are on the play, and this is a fine hand. Start with a tapped Stomping Ground here. Hello, pansies. Llanowar Elves, that's going to get stomped. Pretty easy stomp there. And I wish we could stomp that. Stone Rain. Good thing we haven't played our Black Source yet. Let's look for a non-land source here. Gargaroth, that's a good draw. And more Stone Rains. Let's kill their Paradise Druid. And get in for 5 here. Stone Rain's a little bit less effective when your opponent already has things on the battlefield. We'll look for a land this time. And we're happy to take Escape to the Wilds. Get in for 5. Opponent's incentivized to block here. And they scoop it up because they don't have anything. So they Stone Rained us 4 times, I think, and it just wasn't good enough. I guess the Stone Rain deck, not really sure what I want to change. Elder Gargaroth could be good if we ever get to the mana, But if we never get to 5, it's pretty tough. I think we're just going to run it back, actually. Well, this is a decent hand against a land destruction deck. I'll keep it. Get rid of the Scavenging Ooze while we can. Jeez. The opponent kept a land heavy hand too. And we'll just play out Chevill. It trades with the Bonecrusher Giant, which we're happy to do. Klothys. Well, that'll be good eventually. Let's make them discard their last card. Another land. And hopefully we can just beat them down here. One more land and we have Tibalt mana. 2 more lands and we have Tibalt mana. Let's just play it as a 2-1, that way we can race a little bit faster. Otherwise, we're going to lose the race. And now that we have Chandra, we should be able to just take this game over here. Scavenging Ooze, good draw for them. Especially with a ton of creatures in the bin. Let's go to combat first and see if they block. If they block, we get to kill it with Chandra. Another elf. That's kind of brutal.
Yup, you're going down.
The world tree will be king. Make no mistake.
We have double planeswalkers. I don't see how we lose. But I guess it's totally possible. We are going to have to win pretty quick. Ooh. Let's see what we get off the top.
So many painful memories.
Draw an extra card.
This'll be easy.
Unfortunately, we can't Thoughtseize away either of those cards. Opponent ramps.
You and I are gonna take them out. Oh, today's my lucky day.
Klothys of our own. Let's go and exile cards from all graveyards here.
Everyone out! I have work to do.
Start with an escape to the wilds. We had a whole lot of nothing. We do get a binding the old gods. Takes care of Chandra.
We're done here.
Let's play out a goose. Look for a non-land with another abundant harvest. It's correct for them not to block here because they have us dead on board.
Oh, that's nasty.
Another Elder Gargaroth. Oh. Okay, so we finally hit Elder Gargaroth. Alright. Let's get him with the Death Toucher. Seems like a strange block. Just play an extra blocker here. Just in case. We get to use Scavenging Ooze on whatever they try to exile here. So they don't get the trigger. They can stun us all they want. And the opponent scoops him up. You know, we had a pretty crazy board there. I mean, this hand could get there if we draw lands. We're on the draw, so I'm gonna be greedy. I'll take light up the stage. Let's look for a land. We're going to take away their card advantage engine. And we're happy to trade the Chevill with Soulscar Mage if they give us the option here. Although technically it wouldn't be a trade. Because it would get -1, -2, -2. We get to gain 3 life here. Didn't really want to see a Klothys. If they have a combat trick here or burn spell, I'm happy to take the trade. Atarka's Command. Well, let's start gaining some life. We can use a Atarka's Command to make them discard a card on their draw step. And that's enough for the opponent. Can't say I blame them. It's pretty demoralizing. Alright, so against aggro, we definitely want the Elder Gargaroth and the Scavenging Oozes. So Flunk gives 7 minus X. So if they have no cards in hand, it's more effective. I think generally discard spells are less effective against aggro decks. So we'll cut those. Yeah. Looks good to me. Yeah, seems fine. Got removal for the first couple of creatures. It's not exactly what we wanted to see. Definitely gonna stomp one of those bad boys. They have a shock that's pretty bad. Blizzard's Lightning. Just as bad. And we're just gonna get rid of this rampaging Ferocidon. Another Wizard's Lightning. So they definitely got us close to dead here. Grim Lavamancer. Yes, we're just dead. We would have needed like Anger of the Gods there, which we're not playing. I think on the play we got a much better chance against this opponent. Yeah, it seems totally keepable. No green mana is a little sketch, but double stomp is fine. There's that green source we were looking for. Let's just play out the Scavenging Ooze. See if they have a shock for it. Burning Tree. And the Burning Tree. And the Burning Tree. Wow. That was incredible. It's not often you have the triple Burning Tree hand. Make them pop this off or have a burn spell. Target command. That was a hasty. It's a tough loss. Not much we could have done. I think we played it the best we could. That is a fine hand. Start with the Inquisition. Spectral Sailor. And we will take Rattle Chains. Man, and then they top deck the Curious Obsession. At least we draw the... or play the Stomp. Let's take another look at their hand. Another Curious Obsession. I think we just go for Chandra here.
Yup, you're going down.
Opponent should attack Chandra here. Not sure that that's necessarily right.
Today's my lucky day.
We get to play a double Bonecrusher Giant. They block pretty well against those Faceless Havens. We're happy to take a trade here. Start with an Inquisition. Another Curious Obsession.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
We get to play out of Chevill, which can block the Faceless Haven pretty well. I'm happy to take this trade. And the opponent scoops him up. They had a pretty bad draw there. Alright, so against Curious Obsession, we want the Elder Gargaroth. Flunk is fine. I'm not in love with Thoughtseize, but I think we can keep the Inquisitions in and go down to Valki. Pretty easy mulligan for us here. This is fine. Just gonna hold up Flunk here. Opponent has Lofty Denial. We don't want to run it into that. We're just going to be patient here. That's fine, we at least get rid of one of the creatures. And this is brutal because Chandra's going to get countered. We need to draw something pretty good here off the top. Stomp's a start. That's pretty rough. We're going to wait a moment here. Excellent. We can stop drawing lands at this point. We need something great here off the top. Cindervines can deal with the Curious Obsession. We'll start with a tapped Stomping Grounds. We're just gonna get rid of that before they can Curious Obsession it. We're gonna wait on this K command. Opponent misses a land drop, so that's nice. Rattle chains. Just deal with that while we can. And they discard a Curious Obsession. Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to deal with the Elder Gargaroth. Alright, we get to go first. Seems fine. Start with a Thoughtseize. I'm going to take the elf here. We're going to go with Skoos. Damn. We're just gonna eat this elf while we can. Go ahead and Inquisition the opponent. Get in for 3. The opponent has a burning tree.
You want to go, tough guy? Feel the burn!
Bane of Monsters is really putting in some work.
This'll be easy.
That was a very good Chandra activation for us.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
And I don't see how we lose from this position. And the opponent says that they see the same thing. Alright, so against aggro, we want the Elder Gargaroth. Flunk. Take out Thoughtseize, an Inquisition, bring in Scavenging Ooze. And this is a clear mulligan. This is a lot better. I think we get rid of Chandra here. We're gonna find a land here with the Abundant Harvest. Would have been a long time before we found a land, so that's good. Let's get rid of this Voltaic Brawler. And we'll just hold up this Stomp. Another Voltaic Brawler. Just K command it. Just gonna cast Flunk here. Klothys is a good draw. And we'll just play out a Bonecrusher here as a blocker. Akron War, good for you, guy. Elder Gargaroth's a great draw. Great play, rather. We're gonna gain 3 life. It's a good thing we gained 3 life there, because otherwise we would have died. Chandra gets to kill our Bonecrusher Giant.
Oh, yep, you're flammable.
And I think we win from this position. It's going to be pretty difficult for the opponent to get out of this. And the opponent scoops him up. And here we are for the post-game wrap-up. So, deck feels pretty powerful. Kolaghan's Command, obviously an all-star here. Something I might change. I might go down on the Valkis and up on the Elder Gargaroths. I think that Gargaroth's just super powerful. I love the Abundant Harvest in this deck. And I think that our worst matchups probably Control. And a good way to deal with that is Chandra and Elder Gargaroth. So, felt pretty powerful. I really enjoyed playing this deck, and if you enjoyed watching, please be sure to hit that like button. Comment, let me know what you want to see next, and we'll be sure to add it to the list. Appreciate you. Have a great day.